Hello, I am back with another video and I'm very excited about this one because I am starting a new project. Now I am setting up for my 2026 sort of planner system, and one of the elements that I wanted to add to my planner system was some sort of pocket notebook. And what really caught my eye was the cloth and paper traveler's notebook, and it's a PVC sort of traveler's notebook with like the elastic and everything, and I really like it. I really like it. But it was like $28, and I was like, $28 for a piece of plastic and elastic, I kind of was like, that's a little ridiculous. And so what I decided to do was to make my own. And that's exactly what we'll be doing today. If there is glare, I apologize. There's nothing I could do. This is like, that's just the material I'm dealing with here. But nonetheless, what I did was I purchased this from my local hobby store, and this is a 6-inch. They gave me an extra 2 inches because it's bent, but it's a 6, like I paid for 6 inches, the length of the roll that's in the store, and it cost me $1.48. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I might as well give it a shot, see if I can make it. If you're somebody who doesn't have the tools that I use, maybe the cloth and paper one would be a really good idea. But I am making an A6 size for this particular sort of pocket traveler's journal, and the reason why I decided to go with PVC as well is that I really like the contrast with this and the leather. So instead of getting like 2 leather notebooks to use for 2026, I decided to get a different material. Nonetheless, another reason why I didn't want to buy the cloth and paper one is because I know how PVC ages. I don't know about you, but if you've ever seen like maybe like the kids like bags, and then they have like the cartoon printed out on the PVC, or like if you have like a makeup bag that's made out of PVC or has like the clear, it's basically like a clear bag, the TSA bags and stuff like that. Once you get makeup on it, it's like, it's gonna stay there forever. So I know that this material is gonna age pretty badly, but I'm still gonna do it anyway because I'm very excited and I wanna give it a shot. So this is like what I'm gonna use as measurements, but for the actual profile, I will be taking off 1/2 inch. So in order to plan this build, the first thing I'm gonna do is take a few measurements. We don't wanna stain the PVC. I'm telling you, it's a finicky material. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure this, which is the width. I'm looking at 3.5. I'm looking at 3.5. I'm looking at the dimensions here to be 5, I think an even 6. I think an even 6. I do have to think about how the 6.25. Yeah, even 6 would be too snug. So a 6.5, a quarter. So 6 1/8. I think will probably be the best dimension to work with this. And then I actually have to think about, since we're just going with this, I gotta think about like thickness. So let's see how many books that is. If I wanna make it this thick. That's thick, bro. Let me take a measurement here. Kinda wanna do, no, 1 inch is perfect actually. 1.25 inches for the bind. And then the actual slip-in, be doing a pocket, I think 2 inches would be pretty nice. So 2 inches. So we have 1/4 inch. Then we're working with 3.5. And then we're working with 2 inches, right? That's what we decided, 2 inches? Yeah, 2 inches. 2 inches. And then same thing for the other side, 3.5, and then 2 inches. This is 6 1/8 inch. Put it on the bottom. as you can see, like it's sticking everywhere. Now this gauge PVC is despicable in my opinion. But that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. But first thing I want to do is to make sure the PVC is actually right angles. If I'm using a T-square, if you don't have a T-square, this is going to be a very difficult project. I do highly recommend you get one if you're interested in like DIY projects. I use this for everything. I have multiple of them. Absolutely adore them. So yes, this is right angle. This is a right angle. So yeah, they're perfect. So I planned out all the measurements based on sort of the measurements I took from the notebooks together and everything. And I've decided on this. So 2 plus 2 plus 3.5 plus, 3.5 plus 1.14, 1/4. So I know that's 2, 10, 11, 12, and 1/4. So 12 and 1/4 inches is how long my, how long this is. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually just go ahead and just like mark that really quick. 12.25 inches. Okay, I hope I didn't get any on the PVC. So I'm actually gonna add an extra 1/4 of an inch for sort of discrepancies. So the total will be, I think 12.5 is what I'm gonna do. 12.5 inches. So that is what I decided. I will actually like draft this and put it on my website if you're interested, so that if you want to print it out yourself, you know, you could do that. So that's what we're gonna go with. So the first thing I'm gonna do is measure 12 into 1/4. Don't know if this is a 0, so what I'm gonna do, 12.5 is what we decided, right? 12.5 is right around here. So I'm gonna be quick about it. Use a Sharpie because PVC, like I think it's like the only marker that will work for this. So I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna use a T-square. If you don't have a T-square, I highly recommend you get one. It is literally the best tool when it comes to like paper crafts. So we're gonna do that. Separated? Perfect. So I'm gonna put the rest of this material to the side, and I'm gonna make sure, since this is straight, I know this is straight, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure all the other edges are straight for neatness and for obvious, like, you know, straight lines is pretty important when it comes to this kind of stuff. Just cut off that excess off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to this side. I think this side is straight, but it is not straight. It's not? No, it's not. Okay, come off. Ooh, just a little bit on the bottom. Perfect. Okay. So what's really important, I don't know if you can tell, but there is a nook here. So what I do is I just take another ruler and I basically put it on the edge of the entire material just to get as much tolerance as possible. Okay. Okay. Where are we? And cut. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get almost the entirety of the edge, so we get as much accuracy, not tolerance. We get as much accuracy as possible. Perfect. And just cut that edge. That should be a perfect edge. Then after that, I honestly don't know if you can see. There's nothing I could do about it. I'm like, that's just how the material is. So I'm gonna go ahead, trim this edge. I think this edge is pretty good, but it is off. So we're gonna do a quick trim. All right, so I've cut all the edges. They all should be straight edges. Now we're doing, where is my plan? Now we're doing 6 1/8. So this is 6.5, 1/4, 1/8, that. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut it. You can't see the dot, but I can see the dots. FYI. Where'd it go? There it is, okay. Oof, hope that was straight. Yeah, it looks to be straight. Ooh, yeah, right on the edge. Okay, this is extra material. If you can see the dot, that's where I cut it. I don't know if it's gonna come off. Come on, it's coming off, it's coming off. So it does come off. So I'm gonna actually flip it over. The sides that are coming up are facing down, it will be easier for me to like manage. We're gonna go 2 inches in. 2 inches, and then I'm gonna use binder clips to keep the material in place. Because this is PVC, it sticks to the shelf like really bad. So I kind of don't have to like worry about getting the edge perfect. I'm gonna have to measure again. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. Push down and then get another binder clip. I think we're pretty good. I'm gonna do the other side, 2 inches. Should do it from the center. So that should be, oof, sticky, bro, sticky. And then binder clip on the bottom, and then 2 inches, and then, all right, binder clip on the top. Where's the binder clip? And now we're gonna do a double check. Oopsie, okay, there we go. Then we're gonna double check the actual material. So we are in the green here, I think, so far. So it definitely is gonna fill pretty nicely. This is gonna be huge, but we can see that, yeah, this is looking really good. Okay, that's perfect. So now I know that this is where I want to be. The next thing I'm gonna do is gonna be the hard part. I am gonna use this diamond stitching chisel. I don't know if you can see, but it's basically a leather tool. This cost me like $3, $4, I think. So we're gonna use that. I am gonna guesstimate here. I'm gonna first take off this and I'm gonna do like so. This doesn't have to be perfect. I should measure first, shouldn't I? We're gonna go. I am gonna use the grid that is on my cutting mat, and I'm just gonna go in the middle, like so. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna press. I'm not actually gonna like, I just need to mark it, to be honest. I'm not gonna go all the way through. Okay. And then after I've marked it, I'm gonna actually go back and put the binder clip. And you'll see why I'm doing this momentarily. So I just marked it. We are using the grid. I'm just gonna press, and then we're gonna move. We're gonna press, move, press, move the other side. And we're gonna go, press. Okay, put back on the binder clip. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but what I did was I just marked with the tool where I'm going to be doing stitching. And what I'm gonna do is I'll be using a thumbtack. I'll be using a thumbtack to actually go ahead and poke the holes in the actual material. Because to be honest, I'm not gonna be able to make a big enough hole with these, but if I use this, then as you can see, it's pretty easy to puncture the material and get my stitching hole. So if you're somebody, I'm not doing this all at once, this is just the first part of the video. But I'm just gonna work on this for another like 5 minutes, and then I will film part 2 tomorrow. But I'm just gonna do this satisfying, oh, this is so satisfying. And I don't have to worry about the material moving because as you can see, it's clipped here. So as you can see, I have stitch holes on both sides. You might not be able to see in the camera, but trust me, they're there. The reason why I'm doing this method is so that I don't bother anybody. When I am using my hammer, you can use this tool with a hammer to get the holes in all at once, but I find that this is like a way to do it without disturbing anybody, because I do like to film at night when it's peaceful and nobody's around. So this is like a really therapeutic way of doing it. Okay, I'm gonna stop now and I will see you in the next section of this video.